today is, so this is what your page might look like. Monday, uppercase M, April 6th, 2020. Okay, so you're going to write the date. The next step will be writing your numbers from 1 to 10 with no reversals. And so if you can find something in your home with the numbers to look at to make sure you don't have reversals or get someone to check that out, that would be great. Another thing I would recommend is if parents, you write the numbers 1 to 10 at the very front of their notebook, then they'll always be able to refer to those numbers and not make any reversals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After you've written your numbers 1 to 10, I would like you to tell the time. Now, we are practicing to tell the time to the quarter hour with an analog clock, not with a digital clock. So if you have an analog clock in your home, I would like you to find it. And today I'm going to show you, and you can go tell the time from your analog clock in your home. And if you don't have one, then you can just use the digital and think about what that would look like on an analog clock. So my hands are not staying put. Okay, so if you can see my analog clock, remember we talked about the short hand being the hour hand and the long hand being the minute hand. And we always say the hour hand number first because that tells us what hour we're in. And if you remember, if the hour hand is pointing in the middle, in between the hours, that means that it's just after one of the hours, but not quite into the next one. So if we look at 12, 1, and then it's going into 2, and then it's going to get to 3. But is it at the third hour yet? No, it's not. So we're still in the second hour. So the first thing I can do is write it's 2, which is the hour, colon. We know it's not quite into the third hour yet, so it's not 3 o'clock. And our minute hand, if you remember, there's 60 minutes in an hour. And each of these little tick marks at the top mean 1 minute. So when you get to the 1, 5 minutes has passed by, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So where is our minute hand pointing to right now? I'm going to give you just a second to take a look. It is pointing at the 30. And if you'll notice, the hour hand matches the color of the hours, and the minute hand matches the color of the minutes. So right now, 30 minutes have passed by. So our time is 2:30. Okay? Once you've got your time written down, you're going to do 2 equations, 1 addition, 1 subtraction. And so your addition question for today that I've written up was 7 plus 7. And as all of you know, we've been working on our doubles. So we're going to write that equation, 7 plus 7 equals, and with our doubles, no one should be really counting on their fingers. We want our doubles to be automatic. Okay, so 7 plus 7, I know in my head is 14. If I didn't know that, I could count up. So say 7 and then put 7 more on my fingers. And then say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that would be counting up from the larger number. The subtraction question for today is 19, take away 14. And the strategy that I'm going to use today for figuring out this question is counting, adding up. Okay, so instead of me trying to think about 19 and putting that on my fingers, that's too many to try and keep track of, or even counting out, 19 objects in front of me, I just want to know the difference between 14 and 19. So I can start at 14, count up to 19, and that will tell me the difference. So I'm going to say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So the difference is 5. So that is adding up. And you all know the inverse relationship. We know that going the opposite direction with addition allows us to check our answers. So is it true that 5 plus 14 equals 19? And you can check that out. So we can say 14 plus 5 more, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yes, so that's true. And then after you do your addition and subtraction question, each day you're going to come up with 2 different numbers to add and subtract. Okay, so that's going to be up to you. And I want you to try and challenge yourself with not only single digit numbers, but double digit numbers. So it should be 2 numbers plus another 2 numbers, and trying to figure that out using your strategies in your brain, not just your fingers, right? We want to move to our heads. So the last part of your computational fluency is choosing any 2 coins and adding them together, just to make sure that we're not forgetting about those coins and their value, how much they're worth, and how we can add them up. So the 2 coins that I'm going to choose to add today are going to be worth 25 cents. They have a picture of a moose on them. Do you know what the name of those coins are? If you said quarter, you are correct. And so 25 cents plus 25 cents equals, if I didn't know the answer to that, and we do want to get to the point where that would be automatic because those are benchmark numbers, we might say to ourselves, what's 20 plus 20? I know that equals 40. I'm going to write that out. 20 plus 20 equals 40, and then 5 plus 5 equals 10. So 40 plus 10 equals 50. So I can check my answer and record that work. The answer is 50 cents altogether. Okay, once you've got your computational fluency done each day in your notebook, then you're going to move on to the problem, and there's going to be a different problem each day. In math, so far what we've been working on is data management, and we were in the middle of learning about this when we left school, but some of the key vocabulary that we talked about was data, and data means information, and management means to organize. So what we are doing in this unit is we are organizing information to help us read it quickly and get information quickly to other people. Okay, and we started learning about bar graphs and pictographs and just touched on line plot. So we're going to review that this week because we've been out for a little while. Our learning goal today is going to be, I can create a survey question. I can create a survey question with at least 3 choices. Okay, so we're going to create a survey question today. I'm going to model the survey question that I want to ask my family today, and then you can choose any survey question that you would like to ask your family today. And if you're able to, if you don't have a large family, maybe you could phone some people or text them and ask them what their answer would be to this question so that you can create more data for you to analyze at the end. So the very first step you need to do is, because we're going to have 3 choices, we need to make sure that we are going to have 3 columns. So if you have a ruler, that's when you'll get it right now. And I don't have one right at this moment, so I'm going to draw as straight of lines as I can and model that for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a large box so that I can keep my data inside of there. Okay, and I'm going to divide it into thirds. Okay, and I will have this row at the top with my potential answers. One thing that we did talk about in creating a survey is that you need to have your question written out at the top. So I'm going to write my survey question. And my survey question today is, what is the number one thing you would like to do today? Because sometimes in the home, everybody wants to be doing different things. And so it really makes a difference when I survey this question out to make sure that everyone gets to do one thing that they really wanted to do today. So my survey question is, what would you like to do most? Now, my question matters because if I wrote, what would you like to do today? And maybe one of my answers is not something they would like to do, then they're not able to answer my survey. Where if I say, what would you like to do most? Then they have to choose one of my answers. So one of my answers I think might be bike riding. Another one of my answers is going to be, I'm going to write movie. And another one is going to be board game. So now that I've got my question and my chart, I need to go around and create tally marks, gathering the data from my family members. So we're going to pretend that I have gone around and asked all of my family members what they would like to do. And this was my data. So I had so there are 3 people in my family. And so here is what they said. One person said board game, one person said board game, and I said movie. And so I've got this data. And now, last but not least, in our consolidation, we need to answer the question, what is this data telling us, and why is that important? So we need to remember that we are going to write a sentence, but we want to be using the words like most, least, same, and altogether. When we answer this question, there are a lot more things that you can tell using the data that you have. So if it doesn't have one of those words, that's okay. But one thing I learned about my family is that most people want to play a board game today. And so why that matters is we should probably make time to play a board game today because that will make most of the people in my house happy. So I'm going to write my consolidation sentence, most. This data tells me that most people in